Still jump kicking every boss? Getting swarmed by foot soldiers? Think Donatello's the best turtle? You might be playing TMNT 2, the arcade game, all wrong. The truth is, this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 NES beat-em-up has rules. Master the spacing, the enemy limits, and the one true boss pattern, and you'll dominate. This is the full TMNT 2 NES walkthrough with commentary, showing you every scene, every enemy wave, and exactly how to beat every boss, including Krang and Shredder himself. If you want every detail, enemy counts, pizza locations, and the frame-perfect strategies, I've compiled it all into a complete TMNT2 walkthrough book available on Barnes & Noble. Scan the QR code on screen. Now, let's grab our pizza and start from the beginning. Now, onto Scene 1, Fire. We gotta get April out. Stage 1-1, the burning skyscraper. You're in the middle of April's burning apartment building, and you'll immediately notice something reassuring. Those flames everywhere, completely harmless. There's no timer either, so take your time. The real hazard here is those giant bowling balls rolling down the stairs. They spawn endlessly, so don't try and destroy them. Just stick to the sides of the screen and let them pass. Your special attack demolishes the basic foot soldiers in one hit, and you'll want to lean in on that move heavily throughout the stage. Watch for enemies emerging from doors and elevators. They'll look intimidating, but can't actually surprise attack you effectively. The foot soldiers who grab you are your main concern. If one latches on, your health drains fast. Mash any button to break free, then immediately retaliate with a special. Notice the knife throwers approaching from behind? Those blue colored foot soldiers? Don't let them get distance on you because their daggers fly faster than ninja stars. Close the gap quickly and take them down. Fun fact, when Konami acquired the TMNT license back in 1987, they started developing both an arcade game and a console game at the exact same time. Talk about ambitious! Final boss trivia. In the arcade version, how many Shredder clones appear during the final battle depending on the number of players? The NES version only had one clone since it was limited to 2 players. Did you know that the arcade version became the highest grossing dedicated arcade game of 1990 in the United States? It also became Konami's highest grossing arcade game ever. That's insane! Near the end, you'll encounter 3 roadkill Rodneys before April's apartment. Here's your first major trick. These guys can't leave the screen. Knock one towards the edge and he's trapped. Free points. Hit them twice with your special attack and they're done. Onto stage 1-2, April's apartment. You've reached April, but before any tearful reunion, a handful of foot soldiers drop in for a fight. Clear them quickly because an earthquake signals your first boss battle. Boss battle, Rocksteady. Rocksteady crashes through the wall and surprisingly, he's one of the easier bosses in the entire game. You'll want to jump kick at angles targeting his shins. His return fire will miss high. Now jump away immediately after connecting, then repeat. Now watch for the speed increase after several hits. He'll shoot in Y patterns. If he retreats to the corner and holsters his gun, prepare for the charge attack. His flash rate when hit indicates his remaining health. Flashing faster means your victory is close. With that out of the way, onto stage 2. Come on after that Shredder creep. Stage 2-1, Streets of NYC. Welcome to the picturesque New York ghetto. Ignore the fact that it was 10 seconds ago. We've got foot soldiers to demolish. Those manhole covers they're throwing, you can actually bat them back by hitting them like projectiles. Oddly enough, you won't get your point if you kill enemies this way, so it's not really worth it. The same goes for the parking meters and the fire hydrants, though you do get a point for destroying the meter itself. The dynamite dudes are your next major threat. When you see 2 or 3 on screen simultaneously, resist the urge to special attack. Someone else's bomb can blast you during your recovery animation. Take them out individually and wait for them to throw before engaging. Here's a wild one. The game was such a massive hit that Konami literally couldn't manufacture cabinets fast enough. They had to outsource production to another company called Dynamo Corp just to keep up with demand. You'll spot your first pizza slice on a terrace right after these bombers. Yes, eat the food that's been sitting outside indefinitely. It completely restores your health. If you're playing co-op here, let the weaker player grab it. Check this out. There's a girl on a skateboard. Try to hit her as she passes and you'll score a point. It serves no other purpose, but points are points. The vertical section throws 4 waves of foot soldiers at you in quick succession. They drop from windows in kamikaze fashion, so be ready. When the path goes horizontal again, hug the bottom of the screen to avoid the enemies popping out from behind those Pizza Hut signs. Fun fact, by early April of 1990, Konami had sold over 14,000 arcade cabinets in the United States alone. The game was dubbed the biggest arcade hit since Double Dragon back in 1987. Okay, let's kick things off with a sales question. By early May of 1990, how many arcade cabinets had TMNT sold in North America and Europe combined? This number shocked even Konami. Drop your guess below. Boss battle, Bebop. Now, Bebop shares Rocksteady's attack patterns, but with a dangerous twist. He charges more aggressively. You'll want to use the same jump, kick, and retreat pattern that worked previously on Rocksteady. When he starts his charging animation, kick in the opposite direction, land just in time to leap over him as he passes underneath. His uppercut can knock you out of jump kicks. Just maintain altitude. Now avoid the corner near the car. You'll slide on air above it and become vulnerable. His laser rings hit twice if he's close, so keep your distance. Check this out. During November and December of 1990, arcade operators were averaging $163 per week per cabinet in coin drops. Those quarters were really adding up. With that out of the way, onto stage 2-2, Soho Sewer System. Down the manhole you go into the sewers. The area is straightforward, but stay out of the water when fighting wimpy ninjas. That's where the missiles spawn. You can handle those easily once the other enemies are cleared. Now, if you're playing solo, you'll want to probably earn your first extra life somewhere around here. Every 200 kills nets you another turtle, which sounds great until you realize that's basically 1 life per presidential election. The Mausers emerging from the hole need special attacks, even though jump kicks work. Don't dawdle or they'll all swarm out and overwhelm you. Watch for the shadows in the water. That's your warning that a foot soldier is about to surface. And be careful jumping into the water near that barred gate or you'll eat a missile to the face. Here's some international trivia. In Japan, the arcade game was only sold as a 2-player conversion kit, while the rest of the world got the full 4-player dedicated cabinets. Japan was missing out on the full party experience. Fun fact, the game won a Diamond Award from the American Amusement Machine Association in 1990 for sales achievement. When you're moving that many cabinets and generating that much revenue, you definitely deserve the recognition. Here's one for the eagle-eye fans. What major pizza chain had their logos plastered all over the NES version, complete with a coupon on the back of the manual? Let me know in the comments. Boss battle, Baxter Stockman in human form. Now, Baxter hovers above in a small flying machine that can't directly hurt you. Instead, he drops unlimited Mausers. You'll want to stand in one spot and spam special attacks continuously. This clears approaching Mausers from the front automatically. If Baxter's sprite overlaps yours, you'll hit him twice. It's massive damage. This is basically a breather fight. Enjoy it while it lasts. With that out of the way, onto stage 3. Let's melt snow and rebuild New York City. Did you know the game had different titles depending on where you lived? In the UK, it was called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because of censorship concerns with the word ninja at the time. Stage 3-1, Snowy Central Park. Emerging from the sewers reveals surprise snowfall and one of those exclusive NES levels. Before you even see foot soldiers, giant ice chunks start raining down. Watch the ground for shadows and move fast. You'll probably take a hit here, so don't stress it. The cyborg snowmen are another NES exclusive enemy. Their homing missiles are easily destroyed, and they're even weaker after the snow crumbles off them. A couple of specials, followed by a normal attack, finishes them off. You see those immature foot throwing snowballs? They deal knife level damage somehow. Treat them like any other projectile enemy. Close distance and eliminate them. Now watch for particularly hidden manholes under the snow. They're everywhere and they'll damage you just like the regular ones. Near the end, another ice chunk barrage occurs. Remember not to jump so you don't get hit without warning. Beneath the bustling streets of New York City, something extraordinary was happening. 4 ordinary turtles, exposed to a strange, mutagen ooze, began to transform. Under the guidance of their sensei, a rat named Splinter, who had also been mutated. These turtles trained in the ancient art of ninjutsu. Leonardo became the discipline leader, wielding his twin katanas with precision. Raphael emerged as the hot-headed warrior, his sai always ready for action. Donatello, the tech genius of their group, mastered the bow staff while inventing gadgets to aid the cause. And Michelangelo, the free-spirited party dude, brought his nunchucks and pizza-loving attitude to every battle. But the turtles weren't just training for fun. Their master Splinter had a nemesis, the Shredder, leader of the criminal Foot Clan. Years ago, both Splinter and Shredder had been students of the same martial arts master in Japan. Their rivalry followed them to New York City. Now, the Shredder threatened to plunge the entire city into chaos. The turtles knew they were the city's only hope against this growing evil. Boss battle, Tora. This guy is responsible for the weather madness, and he proves it by throwing ice blocks. You'll want to use the Rocksteady pattern. Jump kick before he catches falling ice. The alternative approach, jump kick him, land, immediately jump kick in the opposite direction. He'll try escaping to corners, but you catch him every time. It's difficult to maintain perfectly, but devastatingly effective when executed. Did you know that in 2019, Arcade 1UP released a replica arcade cabinet for home use? The only major changes were a re-recorded opening theme with a different singer and Nickelodeon's name replacing Konami's on the marquee. With that out of the way, onto stage 3-2, Vinny's Valet Parking Garage. Now, After destroying the weather machine, you're in the parking garage with large foot soldier groups. Those orange cones at the beginning make great weapons. But here's a trick. If you leave them alone, enemies only enter one at a time. The oil drums look useful, but they're actually unreliable. Enemies standing right next to explosions sometimes don't get damaged. The speed limit signs work better for side attacks. Enemies start popping out of vans near the end. Before you reach them, watch for cars that suddenly start up. Jump forward and kick back left at the last second. Fun fact: the release of the first live-action TMNT movie in March of 1990 gave the arcade game an even bigger boost in earnings. Perfect timing for Konami. This one's tricky. The NES version added 2 exclusive bosses that weren't in the arcade game. Can you name both of them? Bonus points if you get the spelling correct. Okay, test your knowledge of development history. When the arcade game became a massive hit, Konami couldn't keep up with demand. What company did they outsource additional US manufacturing to? The car speeds away without crushing you. Watch your landing though, because house cleaners hide behind those cars and they're legitimately dangerous. You'll find April guarded by another boss shortly after. Okay, let's talk awards. TMNT 2 won 2 categories at the 1990 Nintendo Power Awards. One was Best Simultaneous Multiplayer Game. What was the other? Drop your answer below. Here's a fun fact about the arcade version's success. During November and December of 1990, what was the average weekly coin drop earning per cabinet in North America? This number is wild. Boss battle, Baxter Stockman, the mutation form. Now, Baxter returns as a mutant fly, but he's not much harder than his human form. You'll want to save the pizza slice unless you're critically low. You might need it for post-fight. Corner him and position yourself so his spark misses on both sides. Press the A button slightly before the B and hold for extra special attack height. You'll want to jump just high enough to tag him with your weapon. He won't move. If he swoops with his fly swatter, catch him with a special. Traditional jump kicks work, but you'll risk trading damage with them. Alright, with that out of the way, on to stage 4. Let's go get that secret factory. On to stage 4-1, the Santa Maria Highway. The turnpike is apparently the fastest route to this factory. Nobody's mentioned until now. Enemy groups are large and frequent here, making this a true grind. Those spear carriers are genuinely troublesome. You can't block their thrown spears like other projectiles. Use specials up close before they jab you with quick thrusts. After defeating them, cars appear. Stay on the bottom edge to avoid them completely. Here's one that got fans confused. The instruction manual described the plot as a sequel to which TMNT Media, even though the game was obviously based on the cartoon. The roadkill Rodneys still fall for the corner trap, even on the highway. Classic. Development mystery time. According to concept documents in the Cowabunga collection, which cartoon villain was originally planned as a boss but got cut? This character would show up in Turtles in Time instead. When guys carrying missiles do approach, do not attack while they're holding them. They'll drop the bombs at your feet and you'll take damage. Jump around taunting them until they throw, then move in. Past the screen with the tire on the roadside, motorcyclists patrol in the upper half repeatedly. They respawn indefinitely. It's free points if you care about your score. Here's something interesting. The game featured environmental attacks way before they were common. You could slam enemies into walls, hit traffic cones and fire hydrants, and blow up oil drums to take out multiple foes at once. Let's talk about ports. In 2007, the arcade version was re-released on Xbox Live Arcade. How many Microsoft points did it cost? Take me back to those days. The stage ends with foot soldiers hiding in tire stacks. You can knock their thrown objects back at them for poetic justice. With that out of the way, onto stage 4-2, Uptown, New York. Here's some Australian trivia. The game was a record-breaking hit in Australia during 1990, which was unusual because licensed arcade games typically disappeared after just a few months down under. Now, you're on jet-powered skateboards, though controls work exactly the same. The Thunderbird helicopters assaulting you are surprisingly easy. Jump kick back and forth, timing your hits before they fire their machine guns again. 6 hits destroys each one. Don't hover underneath them or they'll drop unpleasant surprises from their lower compartments. There's no bosses in the stage, but that changes once you hop on that party wagon. Okay, a gameplay mechanics question. In the arcade version, what would happen to enemy counts in each level if you cleared the previous stage without dying? This was actually removed in the NES port. Did you know that in the arcade version, you could actually choose your turtle based on which coin slot you put your quarter in? No character selection screen needed. With that out of the way, onto scene 5. Come on, let's bust this joint. Onto stage 5-1, the really secret factory. You'll see Mauser's carrying off Splinter. It's definitely not a pig, despite appearances. Your job is rescuing him naturally. Here's one for completionists. By 2011, how many units had the Xbox Live Arcade version sold on the Xbox 360? This number proves the game's lasting appeal. Here's a cool detail. The arcade version had a unique feature where enemy counts would actually increase in each level if you cleared the previous stage without dying. The game literally got harder the better you played. The path is lined with familiar foot soldiers, but the lasers add a wrinkle. Your enemies are completely immune to them, but you're not. Hang out on the elevated platform at the top and let everyone come to you. Take them out as they land. Fun fact, the NES version wasn't just a straight up port. Konami actually added 2 entirely new levels that weren't in the arcade version. They put in extra work when they didn't have to. Okay, version differences alert. In the arcade version, Raphael had a unique special attack that was different from his brothers. What did he do that was changed in the NES version? When flying saucers start falling from the sky, position yourself next to them as they open and destroy them immediately. They're not fast, but having them run loose is really annoying. The oil drums you find next are perfect for blowing up soldiers jumping from windows. Did you know that Time Magazine's Jared Newman included TMNT in his list of 14 important arcade games not available for the iPad or iPhone, specifically because it pioneered 4-player simultaneous gameplay? That's legacy right there. When the TechnoDrome module appears, don't worry, it's not a boss fight. Instead, bizarre mosquitoes attack with stinger lasers. Blindfold yourself and jump kick randomly for easy wins, or wait until they hover and move in for specials. Fun fact, the attract mode for the arcade game would actually play the first part of the cartoon opening along with a portion of the iconic TMNT theme song. That's how you hook players in. I always love doing these NES playthroughs with commentary. It's such a fun way to relive these games while talking through the strategy. Check this out, the arcade version was hidden as an unlockable bonus in TMNT 2 Battle Nexus for PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. You'd find it by discovering an antique in stage 9-1, which turned out to be the original arcade machine. Meta. That's one reason why I enjoy these classic video game playthroughs. They remind you just how much design went into even the simplest moments. Before the end, robotic arms shoot at you. Jump kick toward them so they miss, then keep moving. If you hit them repeatedly, they turn red and freeze. Boss battle, Granitor. The big guy drops from the elevator shaft and immediately checks his watch. You can special him during this, but he'll likely retaliate. The usual boss pattern isn't very effective here. You'll want to prepare to adapt to this. Standing in front of him gets you roasted by his flamethrower. You want to mix in jump kicks with special attacks. Kick 3 to 4 times quickly, then reposition yourself. You want to move above or below him, let him follow, then special for double the hits. Move away before he bops you on the head. You'll want to alternate kick directions as fast as possible. He absorbs some serious punishment, so stay patient. Product placement alert. The NES version had Pizza Hut logos scattered throughout, and the back of the instruction manual even included a real Pizza Hut coupon that expired on December 31st of 1991. I wonder if anyone actually used it. Use that pizza slice when needed. With that out of the way, onto stage 6. Let's defeat the enemy's ninja magic. Alright, onto stage 6-1, the 13th floor. Splinter's grateful, but your mission continues. You take the elevator up to a mysterious dojo 10 stories above the factory. Another NES exclusive level. This stage throws large armies of regular and lazy foot soldiers at you. If you've made it this far, there's no threat as long as you avoid their flying kick entrances. Some pop out of paper screens and floors, but they act identically. The 3 new enemy types provide a real challenge. Barbarians appear at the beginning and end. Take them out as they enter with special attacks before they jump. If they get airborne, they fly across the screen throwing shuriken. Here's a number that'll blow your mind. The Xbox Live Arcade version, released in 2007, sold 984,271 units by 2011. That's almost 1 million downloads for a nearly 20-year-old game. Okay, it's regional trivia time. What was the game called when it was released in Japan for the Famicom? Remember, their first TMNT game had a different title. Can you guess the ranking? Games Radar placed TMNT 2 on their list of the best NES games ever made. What number did it hit? Let me know what you think. Renaissance Tigers are legitimately annoying. Only the regular attacks work consistently. Line yourself up as one charges and smacks its head. Position yourself about 3 steps from the screen edge to knock it off. And for some reason, it won't switch planes if you do this. It takes at least 12 hits to kill. Use a turbo controller and make a sandwich if you have one. The mech scorpions are the absolute worst, only appearing once. They need multiple specials, but you might resort to jump kicks since close combat is dangerous. They can hop back, avoiding your kicks. Those clever little jerks. Trap them in corners whenever possible. If they escape, watch for tail whips and projectiles. Boss battle, Shogun. This ghost appears in the middle of the floor at what seemed like a dead end. Okay, you're gonna prepare to take damage. There's no clean strategy here. His head detaches and flies in a figure 8 pattern. You'll want to stay away from it. You'll want to land kicks consistently while the head is separated. You can try your specials as his head reattaches. Don't attack on the ground. His halberd has long range and stops jump kicks. You'll probably need the pizza slice. He has surprisingly low health compared to the other bosses. Constant aggression wins this battle. With that out of the way, onto stage 7, we gotta find the TechnoDrome. Onto stage 7-1, Corridors of the TechnoDrome. Now, the TechnoDrome interior looks ominous, but mostly features enemies you've already mastered. Shredder sends nearly every foot soldier type you've encountered this far. If you remember how each behaves, be prepared. The laser beams only cause problems if you walk into them mid-battle. The artillery batteries past the boomerang guys and flippers can be bothersome. Watch your positioning. Deep freezers spray freezing attacks that turn you into a popsicle. Use the jump kicks, they're critical here. Following the second set of freezers, you'll ride an elevator, stand at the very bottom, and bowling balls miss completely. As the turtles fought their way through the city, they discovered the terrifying scope of Shredder's ambitions. The Foot Clan wasn't just a street gang, it was the ground force for an invasion. Deep beneath the city, or perhaps in another dimension entirely, lurked the TechnoDrome, a massive spherical fortress blistering with weapons and technology. This mobile battle station served as the Shredder's ultimate base of operations, and controlling it was Krang, a disembodied alien brain from Dimension X. Krang and Shredder had formed a deadly alliance. Krang provided alien technology and his powerful robot body, while Shredder supplied the manpower and tactical expertise. Together, they commanded an army of mutants and machines. The bumbling but dangerous Bebop and Rocksteady mutated from common street thugs into a rhinoceros and a warthog. The mad scientist Dr. Baxter Stockman and his Mauser robots, and elite soldiers like General Treg, who commanded specialized military operations. The TechnoDrome represented more than a base, it was a symbol of everything the Shredder wanted to achieve. From within its metal walls, he could coordinate attacks across the entire city, manufacture mutants and weapons, and eventually launch a full-scale conquest. The Turtles realized that reaching April and Splinter meant infiltrating this fortress and confronting not just the Shredder, but the full might of his alien-enhanced army. When the ride ends, you'll find the last pizza slice, but save it until after clearing the machine gunner room. The final corridor before the end game is packed with annoying soldiers and 2 sets of roadkill Rodneys. What made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles special wasn't just their martial arts skills or their unusual origins, it was their brotherhood. 4 brothers who argued about pizza toppings, cracked jokes in the middle of battles, and never gave up on each other no matter how dire the situation became. They represented something that Shredder could never understand, that true strength comes from loyalty, friendship, and fighting for something greater than yourself. As they battled through the Technodrome's corridors toward the final confrontation, the Turtles embodied what it meant to be heroes. They faced impossible odds with courage and determination. When one turtle fell, the others fought harder. When the Shredder unleashed his mutant ray, threatening to reverse their mutation and strip away their powers, they adapted and overcame. They proved that heroes don't need to be born. They can be made in the sewers, trained in the shadows, and tested in the fires of combat. By the time they faced Shredder in his throne room, fighting through his clones and dodging his lethal attacks, the Turtles had become legends. They'd saved their city, rescued their family, and shown that even a group of pizza-loving teenagers could stand up to evil and win. Cowabunga indeed. The heroes in a half shell had earned their place in history, one roundhouse kick at a time. Stick to the top or bottom edges and handle each enemy individually. Boss battle, General Treg. Reaching a shiny red door triggers this geological menace to blast it across the screen. Clear out immediately. Okay, the usual attack patterns are difficult in this confined space. After a couple of shots, he reloads. That's your special attack window. Until he starts reloading, rely on steady jump kicks. His rockets can be destroyed easily if they're fired from a distance. Hang back and let him shoot a few times if you're low on energy. Just act casual about it. Start whistling at this point. Next, you'll take a portal to Dimension X. Boss battle, Krang. The big guy emerges through the portal for a brutal fight. It's nearly impossible to beat him without dying once or twice here, so hopefully you've stockpiled your lives. Okay, you want to take side-to-side jump kicks. They're ineffective, but necessary. Expect to trade kicks frequently and get booted retreating. Retreating to the opposite side makes him kneel and launch his fist. It can't be destroyed. His laser eye usually misses if you're actively kicking. Occasionally, he flexes in a victory pose. It's a brief special attack opportunity. He usually only does this after knocking you down. Moving vertically and special attacking has moderate success. This is the hardest fight in the game. Conserve your lives for what follows. The conflict escalated when April O'Neil, a fearless news reporter and ally to the Turtles, was investigating the Foot Clan's activities. She had been digging too deep, uncovering evidence of the Shredder's criminal empire. The Foot Clan struck quickly, kidnapping April before she could expose their operations. But the Shredder didn't stop there. In a calculated move to crush the Turtle spirits, he also captured Master Splinter, the wise sensei who had raised and trained them. Their message was clear. The Shredder was declaring an all-out war. The Turtles emerged from the sewers with a singular mission: rescue April and Master Splinter at any cost. Their journey would take them through the streets they'd sworn to protect, facing wave after wave of foot soldiers, dangerous mutants, and the Shredder's most powerful lieutenants. From apartment buildings to frozen city streets, from secret factories to ancient temples, the Turtles would need every ounce of their training to survive. This wasn't about saving their friends anymore. This was about stopping the Shredder's plan to dominate New York City and proving that heroes could come from the most unlikely places, even from 4 mutant turtles who loved pizza. With that out of the way, onto the final boss in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Shredder. He follows Krang from Dimension X, but thankfully, he's less threatening. He splits into 2. Usually the real one moves to the back. Jump kicks excel here, but his katana has extremely long range. There's no point defeating all the clones unless you're chasing score. Focus on the real one. If he runs to the far end, jump kick behind him. He'll unleash instant death electricity. When his helmet falls off, the fight's nearly over. He loses instant death and cloning abilities. Unmask the dummy if you find him. He's equally deadly. It takes about 12 more jump kicks after the face reveal. Oroku Saki, known as the Shredder, stands as one of the most formidable villains in the Turtles' rogue's history. Clad in razor-sharp armor with lethal blades mounted on his arms, the Shredder is a master, technician, and ruthless crime lord who commands the Foot Clan with an iron fist. His history with Master Splinter runs deep. Both were once students of the same Nujutsu master in Japan, but where Splinter chose honor, Saki chose power and domination. What makes the Shredder truly dangerous isn't just his martial arts expertise or his technological resources, it's his cunning mind and his willingness to exploit any advantage. In the final battle of TMNT 2, he demonstrates this perfectly by creating clones of himself to confuse and overwhelm his enemies. His deadliest weapon, the Mutant Ray, doesn't just injure, it strips away the very mutation that gives the Turtles their power, threatening to reduce them back to ordinary reptiles and erasing everything they've become. The Shredder represents the dark mirror of what the Turtles could have been. Powerful but consumed by revenge, skilled but driven by hatred. His alliance with Krang shows he'll make deals with anyone, even alien warlords, to achieve total control over New York City. Defeating him isn't just about winning a fight, it's about proving that honor and brotherhood will always triumph over tyranny and ambition. Alright, and that's TMNT 2, the arcade game from start to finish. You've mastered the special attack, learned the corner trap, memorized all the boss patterns, and discovered why those NES exclusive levels make this version superior to the arcade original. This game exemplifies everything Konami got right during their golden age: accessibility without sacrificing depth, licensed content that respects its source material while standing alone as quality gaming, and that perfect balance of challenge and fun. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into a forgotten classic, make sure to subscribe. We're uncovering more underappreciated gems, exploring what made them special, and giving you the tools to master them. Next time, we're diving into another NES legend that did something nobody expected. Until then, keep those specials coming, and remember, pizza solves everything. Cowabunga!